John Babbacombe Lee, better known as the Man They Couldn't Hang, is the center of a 19th century British unsolved mystery. Lee's nickname, Babbacombe, comes from the sleepy British village where he was accused of committing the grisly murder that would make him infamous. Lee served as butler for wealthy spinster Emma Keyes, and they had an atypical working relationship. In 1882, while still a teenager, Lee stole from Keyes, was found guilty, and sent to prison. Keyes felt sorry for her footman and told the prison she wished to rehire him, which she did 6 months later. Years after that, Keyes planned to sell her estate, which put Lee in danger of unemployment. He became enraged and lashed out at her, and she punished him with a significant pay reduction. This financial demotion made Lee's fiancée call off their wedding. Now even more upset, Lee told his half-sister that he would have his revenge and lay the place in ashes. November 15, 1884, Lee's 20th birthday. Authorities raced to Keyes' home, which was on fire. There they discovered her body nearly decapitated and partially burned. It appeared to be a crime of passion with an attempt to destroy the evidence. John Lee remained calm, even serene, throughout his trial, explaining, "I trust in the Lord, and he knows I am innocent." February 23, 1885, 3 months after the murder, Lee stood at the Exeter Prison gallows with his neck in a noose. The lever was pulled, but the trapdoor didn't open. They removed Lee, performed a successful test on the trapdoor, then put the man back into position. The lever was pulled. Again, the trapdoor failed to drop. They repeated the entire process another time. By the third failed attempt at death by hanging, officials deemed it unlawful to try a fourth time, with many spectators whispering their belief that they were witnessing divine intervention. Officials escorted Lee back to his cell. The burden of deciding what to do with the thrice-hanged man fell on Britain's Home Secretary, Sir William Harcourt. Attempting a fourth execution seemed rather unsporting to most, so he commuted the death sentence to life imprisonment with the recommendation that he never be released. The people campaigned for his release. John Babbacombe Lee's story became famous, and people believed he'd either been saved by God or been tortured enough and should be freed. This attention led to the discovery of how weak the evidence had been that supported his guilt. First off, he was never allowed to speak in his own defense. Second, the evidence against him was circumstantial at best. And third, there was no proof that he murdered Keyes and set her home on fire. 22 years after his failed execution, John Lee was released from prison. It was 1907. He capitalized on his fame by writing and publishing an autobiography and touring the country, speaking about his adventures on death row. Then, it seems the limelight soured, and in 1911 he vanished from Britain. When he left Britain, he abandoned a wife and 2 daughters who had to move to a workhouse to survive. As it turned out, he immigrated to America, where he started a new family. Over the years, his story has been depicted in film, television, and even a folk rock opera. More than a century has passed since Emma Keyes' grisly murder. Whether or not it was at the hands of John Babbacombe Lee, and whether or not divine intervention prevented his execution, will almost certainly remain a mystery.
Thanks for watching this video. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel for more of history's weirdness that you won't find in your textbooks. All those textbooks that you had to give back. No one has their textbooks anymore, right? I don't have mine. Anyway, there's this video here. There's this one here. There's more stuff here. There's more good stuff. If you liked it, stick around.